Anatoly Yunitsky's article Description of the Structural Elements of the Spaceway Astroengineering Transport System, performed by Michael Kirichenko. Spaceway is a comprehensive non-rocket space industrialization program. Its main goal is to move the environmentally harmful industry from Earth to Earth orbit for the sake of preserving and restoring the ecology of the blue planet. The Spaceway program implementation includes three main components: Equatorial Linear City (ELC), General Planetary Vehicle (GPV), Space Industry. The Equatorial Linear City, or ELC, is an extensive network of residential and industrial clusters united by transport and energy communications necessary for the distribution of cargo delivered to the orbit and back. The central axis of the city, along which the GPV takeoff and landing flyover is laid, should be in the equatorial plane in land and sea sections. Passenger transportation and cargo delivery within this network is provided by Skyway high-speed ground transport, as well as Hyper-U hyperspeed transport, in which the rolling stock moves in a 4-vacuum tube, which allows eliminating air resistance and speeding up to 1,250 km per hour. The General Planetary Vehicle, or GPV, is a reusable self-supporting aircraft operating in the Earth orbit loop. The structure encircles the Earth in the equatorial plane, and the takeoff is carried out from the flyover, also serving as a landing platform. The system is driven by the centrifugal force resulting from acceleration of the flywheels of a linear electric motor located in its core. Cargo and passengers are accommodated in special modules attached to the GPV hull and distributed along its length using Skyway and Hyper-U high-speed transport. Per each flight, GPV is capable of transporting 10 million tons of cargo and 10 million passengers for the construction and maintenance of the space industry. Despite the impressive size of the GPV structure, the price of a passenger ticket to the Earth orbit will be about $100, while the level of comfort during space travel will be higher than when traveling on Earth. Low prices will be achieved not only due to the low operating costs of GPV, but also due to the one-time transportation of a huge number of passengers and a large amount of cargo. Like a stretched thread having infinitely small transverse dimensions with respect to its length 1 to 10 million ratio, GPV acquires the property of a stable self-supporting structure. The GPV hull is a solid vacuum-sized tube with an electric motor elongated in a continuous line and belt flywheels inside it. All these individual elements are placed in advance inside the hull, connected to each other, and then air is pumped out of the tube and vacuum is created. In order to lift the GPV into space, it is necessary to accelerate the belt flywheels in the linear motor hull to a speed exceeding the Earth orbital velocity. As soon as the electromagnets are turned on, the flywheel belts start to levitate between them in the vacuum without experiencing environmental resistance. Due to the connection to external power sources, the flywheel belts are set in motion, rotating around an axis passing through the Earth mass center. As speed increases, the flywheels accumulate the necessary amount of kinetic energy, which allows lifting the GPV in the air and take it out into space. After the flywheel belt has reached the calculated speed, it becomes weightless. With a further increase in the flywheel speed, the centrifugal force acting vertically from the center of the Earth exceeds the weight of the flywheel, providing excess lift. As a result, the GPV hull, with all the cargo and passengers, begins its ascent to a defined orbit. Due to the fact that rotor rotation creates centrifugal force exceeding the Earth gravity, the GPV hull breaks away from the launching flyover. As it moves from the Earth's surface into space, the GPV hull begins to expand evenly. In order to ensure the constant balance of the hull, GPV, if necessary, is supplied with a special ballast system. As ballast, environmentally friendly substances such as, for example, water and oxygen will be used. If sprayed in the upper atmosphere, they will help restore the ozone layer of the Earth and will allow managing the weather and climate on the planet safely and environmentally. Space industry is a network of industrial and residential facilities located in the equatorial plane in low circular orbits. Space plants, factories, power plants will be located here, as well as residential space settlements. Eco-Cosmohouse, or ECH, where the staff serving the space industry will live and work. After the target orbit is reached, GPV will unload cargo and passengers into the complex that surrounds the entire planet along its entire length. The industrial space necklace elements are interconnected by transport, energy, and information communications, and with the planet Earth by means of GPV geocosmic aircraft. The constructional part of residential facilities is a sphere, a cylinder, or a torus as the most optimal alternatives. All of them rotate around their axis, creating artificial gravity. Inside the carrier shell of a residential cluster made of high-strength materials, living quarters have been set up. There is also a layer of soil, and there is a similar to the Earth's atmosphere. Outside and inside the structure is equipped with meteorite and radiation protection. Eco-Cosmohouse, or ECH, is a space structure with an autonomous biosphere. Each ECH has artificial gravity and regulated habitat parameters. The ECH's biosphere can provide autonomous living for up to 10,000 people. Passenger and cargo modules of GPV can be used not only for transportation, but also as a full-fledged housing. Such residential modules may constitute a separate zone of the Eco-Cosmohouse. Together they will form a kind of low-rise dwelling suburban areas, where each family has its own space. The modern level of science and technology development allows implementing the Spaceway program in the foreseeable future. This will require significant investments, as well as efforts from researchers and inventors. However, the resources expended will be more than replenished, since the program opens for humanity access to the unlimited energy, spatial, and raw material resources of space. In addition, Spaceway will allow us to gradually get rid of harmful industrial enterprises on Earth, due to which its ecology will be restored and conditions will be provided for a comfortable and safe life for humans in harmony with nature.